Hey guys, John Bennett here. Today I'm going to go to a Stop the Bleed training course. It's hosted by ARC Herkimer. It's going to be instructed by a healthcare education specialist or an RN, a registered nurse. I saw it on Facebook. They have groups and such. They post different stuff. A friend of mine, Christine, thanks for the post. I appreciate it. It's absolutely free and to the public, so you guys got to check this kind of stuff out. Once in a while they'll post stuff on Facebook and it'll be absolutely free, and it can deal around multiple different topics and subjects. The county and state get funding. The state gets federal funding sometimes, and the county gets state funding sometimes. It kind of like the military, it rolls downhill. But everybody should take advantage of this. You can learn a lot. The more important thing is that you're getting a lot of good information. Okay, so this Stop the Bleed training course is, I'm assuming, exactly that. Different techniques and situational awareness on how blood flows and how to stop the bleeding. And a lot of us know out there that the number one thing you want to remember in any laceration or major injury is you got to stop the bleeding. You can bleed out in 3 minutes, sometimes less depending on the severity. But take advantage of all these courses that are already paid for. They could save your life for somebody else that you love, or friends, or family, or just strangers. You come across an accident and you're first on scene. You've got this information that you can use there now and save somebody's life, save that person's life. So stick with me. Check it out. This is Ethan Durham. We're at ARC in Herkimer. They're doing a great program here. It's called Stop the Bleeding. It has to do with tourniquets and stopping wound bleeds. It's very important, especially with all the crisis that's happening in the schools and all the mass shootings and everything going on. So we want to promote this program that we're doing here. And can you delve us a little bit into what the program is actually initiated for?
Sure. So it originated after the Sandy Hook shootings, and so a bunch of professionals got together and decided that the best way to help in a situation like that would be to control the bleeding in a situation where there's a lot of injuries or something.
Well, sure, because just a few minutes and you've bled out.
Right.
The situation's still going on.
Right. So generally speaking, you're looking at about 7 minutes response time for first responders. Someone can die from a traumatic bleeding injury in a few minutes, less than that.
Right. Yeah.
So this program is, so they got together, they decided this is the guidelines. So the American College of Surgeons is instituting this program. Their goal is to train 200 million people in the United States.
Awesome.
So very ambitious.
Very ambitious. And it's one of those things that, like, anybody, a 7-year-old person, a 7-year-old kid can save a classmate's life.
Right. So that's a good point. So it's about a 60 to 90 minute training. And once you go through that, then you're prepared in a situation to hopefully be able to assist somebody. And you're right, it's pretty straightforward, but there are some things that you need to know how to do, be able to recognize the situation, what it is, and go from there.
Right. And it's not like you really can't go through this without training in some sort, correct? Somebody can't just give somebody that hasn't been trained a tourniquet and expect them to leave it on for 3 or 4 or 5 hours.
That's correct. So the training is, I'd liken it to CPR. You would want to train, you would want to have a hands-on portion of that training. So that's what we're trying to do with the trainings. Amanda will get you trained up. show you how to recognize it, what to do in that situation, and you can save a life. The real goal of this is empowering bystanders to become first responders, because those are truly the first responders in a situation like that.
Right, exactly. Now, friends, family,
Mhm.
loved ones, strangers,
Mhm.
you know, and with the PTSD of after situation where you're not able to help that person
Mhm.
or save that person. Now, everybody is, as far as your ideal of training everybody and getting everybody suited up, everybody's capable of saving any life, correct?
Yeah, I mean it would.
As far as this,
That's ideal. So kind of building in a civil resiliency, so that everybody can kind of help out in a situation. And I just want to say that although it started from after the Sandy Hook shooting, traumatic, the vast majority of traumatic bleeding events are not related to violent acts. So you might come across a car accident, you might have a boating accident, you might have an accident with a chainsaw. So there's a lot of things, or I heard one about a student falling carrying Pyrex glass in chemistry class. So there's a lot of other things. I know it's kind of everybody goes kind of right to the worst case scenario, and I understand that,
right,
but I just want people to understand that yes, in your everyday lives, you might come across a situation where you could help out.
right. So you're going to pass an automobile accident
Mhm.
and just be an observer.
Mhm.
You're going to be the person calling the 911 and waiting, continuing on. But in this circumstance, like you said, 2 or 3, depending on the severity of the injury, 2 or 3 minutes, 4 minutes,
Right.
and that person has passed.
Right.
This way, just about everybody's going to be on scene, be able to have that training, be able to initiate it immediately,
Mhm.
and possibly save that person's life.
Absolutely. And we also have kits that we put together here that include the tourniquet, the gloves, a little card that kind of gives you the reminders of how to do it. In a high pressure situation, you might go, what was that step? And also, to your point earlier, a little Sharpie marker so that you can actually write the time on when you applied the tourniquet, because that's very important.
Right. Yeah. Now, why is that time limited? And why do we set that ceiling for that?
So you want to stop the bleed, but you also don't want to. If you leave it on too long, we could end up losing a limb. So we have to know exactly when it was put on, and so that's why it's in Sharpie, and you can put it on there as you'll go through the training. Obviously, a lot of blood. Tourniquet might be covered. We've been told you can write it right on the person's forehead if need be, just so that that's how important it is.
Right. Now, this is a free demonstration for the public?
Yeah, so Herkimer has been doing a lot of free trainings. Amanda's been heading that up. We've also been working with a lot of our local elected officials. Some assembly members have been very kind in getting us introductions and setting up trainings within their districts, and we're looking to expand that outward from central New York and beyond. A lot of different places in New York are right now doing trainings. There's quite a groundswell of trainings going on across the state, and some of our efforts are trying to work together to better collaborate and figure out kind of what works, what doesn't work, and see if we can move forward all together.
Right. Now, I just got to say, that is phenomenal. That is phenomenal. Now, if this can get federally, state funded,
Mhm.
and quote unquote mass produced,
Mhm.
I'm sure it's going to be saving thousands of lives. It's such a basic thing.
Mhm. I agree.
Stop the bleeding. With anything you come on, a situation, internal bleeding, broken limbs, all that, they're kind of minor as far as direct on scene. The lacerations and the gunshot wounds and everything, it's got to stop immediately. So I think that is very important to this situation. And I love to see this on Facebook, on my channel, everywhere I can, and I'm going to promote it as much as possible.
Well, thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much.